Okay, so now I have a situation here where I'm ferrying down the shaft of the paddle, and it's very important to make sure that the shaft has an oval effect rather than truly round. You want to have the distance going across the shaft this way to be a little bit longer or a little bit wider than the distance going the other way. So what I do is I take my spoke shave and just clean that up just ever so gently. I'm not trying to cut off a huge amount. I'm flattening it out just a bit and then of course rounding it off as well. All right, and this is just to get the rough feel where you want it to be. Then you feel that, and oh my goodness, that's looking good. Then after you do that, you're going to go back to your rasp and or a good file and just clean that up. A nice long strokes. And when you're using a rasp or a file, remember that you're going from the very tip of the rasp all the way to the shank down here to the handle, and so it's an angular cut because you're cutting with teeth and you're only cutting in the forward direction. If you just sort of go like this, which a lot of my students tend to do, you're going to just burn a hole right into your project that you're working on, no matter what it is. So if you do a nice light stroke, you don't put a lot of force into it. Now what's nice, what we can do now is we can actually round it off a bit as well. Okay, so using the rasp to just round it just a bit. Now it's very important to always check how it feels. Move your hand back up and down here, see if there's any anomalies, as there is in this one right over here, and just clean up those anomalies. And don't just work on that anomaly right there. Make sure that you go the whole distance, maybe a little more pressure where the anomaly was, and then cast it on through. The reason that you're doing that is you're trying to keep it even. It's really important to realize that you can screw up your paddle shaft in this process right here because you have to realize that you want to keep this paddle going nice and straight. So another thing you want to do is to look down the length of the shaft to make sure that it's straight as well. Use your eyes, but the best thing you can possibly do is using your hand, because your hand can feel those anomalies and then you can get rid of them and just round things off that way. Don't use the round part of your half round rasp at this point in time because you'll gouge it out and you don't want to do that. You can use that in the grip part right over here, but not over here. Here you'd flip it over to flat. Here you can use the half round. Here you use the flat and just clean that up, making it look really good. After you've got that exactly where you want it to be, then you grab a sander. You can do it by hand if you want. You can sand this totally by hand. That's totally doable. No problem at all. You just get your sander if you have a whatever type of sander you might have, and turn it on, of course. And I'm not going to leave that on, but just sand down. Now when you're sanding, I'm not going to do it with it on, but when you're sanding, always move your sander to follow the curvature of whatever it is that you're sanding, especially when you're doing something as organic as a paddle like you see here. So you're moving the sander so you're not gouging or sanding too much in one spot. And again, feel it. See what it feels like. Okay, don't do the finished job yet. I'm using about an 80 grit sandpaper right now, and I'm just roughing it into where I want it to be, but it's very easy to go too far. So be very careful, do a little bit at a time. Don't go overboard. If you see a knot that you, I gotta get that down, or if you see a little anomaly there, I gotta work that down. No, remember, work over the whole paddle's shaft distance so you keep everything the same rather than gouging it in one spot. And just work it in slowly and you'll get the job done. Then flip it over and of course do the other side. Okay, until next time.